Denise and Deannette from Imperial Farms. We're here today. Gotta be quiet, I guess. We got the grandbaby today, this morning, and he's with us, so we're trying to be quiet and multitask, I guess is what we would say here. So, as you can see, we have carrots. We harvested our carrots this week. I will post a picture up there somewhere so that you can see how many we harvested out of our raised bed. And what kind were these, Denise?
These are Baltimore hybrids
that we got.
That we kind of last minute decided to harvest these because we pulled a few to look at them and they looked so good. We was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead. So, of course, we did not catch a video of us pulling those up, but that's okay. It's all right. You know we did. We will show you the picture of that. Of the basket that we got, but we've been here this morning just cleaning them. We washed them, we peeled them. Now we're cutting them, dicing them a little bit, and we're starting to can them, put them in the canning jars to can. Now there's several recipes out there that do all kinds of stuff, but really if you're going to can your carrots, you know, you need to pressure wash them because they're low acid based.
Pressure can them.
Pressure can them. What did I say?
You said pressure wash.
Oh, pressure wash.
There's a difference between pressure wash and
pressure can them because they are a low acid produce. But there's different. I mean, if you wanted to do something different, you could pickle them. You know, you could.
I have fermented them before, and I like them. Fermented. Good little healthy snack, good for gut health. Some people don't like it. I mean, it's just different.
Yeah.
You know,
anyway, so we decided we were going to pressure can these just because it's our first time harvesting our carrots. We've never grew carrots on the farm before. And so we wanted to just can them. And now there are recipes that you don't have to add sugar, salt to it, but I like the idea of adding some canning salt to it. So we're doing them in pint-sized jars, and we're adding a half a teaspoon of canning salt to that in the hot jars. Now once the jars are filled with the carrots, we're going to pour some hot water over them, or boiling water, and we're going to put our two-piece lid on it, and we're going to can it in a pressure canner for about 25 minutes under 10 pounds of pressure.
Where we're located. Now, did you tell, for the pint-sized jars, you're going to need half a teaspoon of canned salt.
Right.
They call for kosher salt too. I just have canned salt here, and that's what we use, and so I try to stay consistent, you know, where I don't have to, you know, think about it too much when we get down the road. You know, it's more what I'm used to doing. But
right.
I am so tickled that we grew carrots. We weren't sure we could grow them here, and
yeah,
they're definitely. We talked about as we pulled these the other day.
We're filling a raised bed in the fall.
In the fall, we're gonna
with some more of these.
Some more of these. If you have any ideas of a sweeter carrot or something like that, a different tasting carrot, let us know down there in the comments. We're willing to try anything. But what I'm doing here is I'm packing this all the way up to the shoulder, you know, because once they pressure can, they're going to shrink some. So I want as much carrots in here so that it prevents, you know, any type of air or anything from getting in, you know, or whatever, or space. Because the more space you have in there, the more likely it's to harbor something, you know. So.
But we're just here today doing that. And of course, Deannette said we had Beckett today. He's not feeling well, so he gets to stay with his Aunt Lucy and his Nana today and spend the day, which he's done great, and he's been fine. We've had a lot of sickness on the hill.
I think he was just car sick from his mama's driving.
Oh, I don't know for sure.
Because he hasn't gotten sick since he's been with us.
But that's okay. We'll take care of him for sure.
That is one of the reasons why I came home, retired, or just decided to be here, because I can be available to my grandbabies and when they need me. And it's in these times that, you know, especially with Beckett, he has had a lot of sickness and has missed a lot of school, and Mom and Daddy have used up all of their time. And so when you use up all your time at your job, you don't get paid for being there. And so Mom and Daddy need all the money they can get to keep things going at their house. And so we're here.
But probably by the time this video is aired, you guys will have seen our very first podcast or blog cast, whatever you want to call it, and our new thing that Deannette and I are doing. We are starting on Fridays to do a video on the Double Trouble Weekend Review. Just to kind of cover things that might not have been shot in videos, because I mean,
we can't carry the video everywhere we go.
We can't do that. We can't. It just
I mean, I guess we could, but it would be,
for us, it's a little difficult because we have so much going on. But so we were going to do that, but of course we were supposed to start that podcast, that video this past Friday, the 13th of May, and we just Stumpy, bless his heart, his sweet brother-in-law passed away, and they were tied up with the family for that, and so we just postponed it this week. And then this week, lo and behold, our mother gets sick and is actually in the hospital right now, hoping we're going to be able to get her discharged here any minute. They're going to call and let us know that she's ready to go, but she's sick with that big old nasty C-word virus and the flu, and so we have been taking care of her. So it's just, if we look ratchet and carried away,
it's because we are.
It's because we're exhausted trying to keep up with her and watch her. But anyway,
thankful that we're able.
Thankful, so grateful that we are able to do that.
The Lord has worked it all out, that we're able to do that, and man, we're thankful.
For sure. For sure. So now what we're done chopping, so we're gonna, this is our hog slop. You know, anything that we have left over, we make sure
nothing goes to waste.
Goes to the hogs and they can eat it. And so never discarding thing. And then of course the Mrs. and Mr. Squiggly, they love it for sure. They definitely love it for sure.
So I'm interested to see. So we had where's the basket? This basket was heaping full of the carrots that we.
And I think the place we got these from is called Shumway or Shumway Seeds. I will try to get the link put down in the description for you guys. This is where we ordered. It was a little catalog thing we got in the mail, and Eric and I looked at and we were like, oh, okay. So we ordered some seed from there. So this came from there. So we're very excited about seeing how these do in the canner. We're happy about how they grew.
They taste delicious raw.
They do. They are very good raw.
We didn't really save any of them. Man, they're good. They are not as bitter as the ones you get in the store.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So
I'm just thrilled. This has like been my little baby because we started the seeds in the raised beds, you know, right away, and just not knowing how.
We weren't sure they would make it.
How are they going to do? And when they started sprouting, I was so tickled. It's just been so wonderful to watch. Watch these things grow. So we'll definitely be doing these again.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. So we got our water boiling on the stove. In just a minute, we'll add our half a teaspoon. Now what you added, half a teaspoon?
Yes.
Half a teaspoon of salt to these jars, and then do we think we have enough for one more jar?
All right. So probably not enough to provide for all the families on the hill for the year. You know, that's
we have a gauge to go by.
But we have a gauge to go by, and we will, like I said, we're definitely after our stuff that's in the raised beds now, the tomatoes,
Peppers,
the Christmas lima beans, the peppers and stuff, finish out their year, late fall. We'll definitely seed some more carrots in those raised beds. Yes. So I'm tickled about that.
We're gonna have I'll tell you what's left over we'll just snack on. How about that?
Yeah. We'll do that.
So are you packed tight there?
I hope so.
What if they can hear you crunching?
I don't know, it's loud, isn't it?
Loud.
I'm sorry. It's very loud. But they're good.
Okay, so half a teaspoon of salt.
It's not boiling yet.
Salt's really the preservative that you put in it to help it preserve longer. It's a natural preservative. So
it calls for, this one might be a little full, it calls for a inch to an inch and a quarter head space in here, so we want to make sure we have all those pushed down really good.
Yeah, there's too much space in there.
So they look pretty in the jars. I did make a recipe with some the other night. I did just a glazed carrot in the skillet with brown sugar and butter. Ooh! Yeah. Only thing I wish I'd done is made them the slices a little bit thicker.
I didn't even get to try them. You know what?
Oh no.
Yeah, that was the day that we cooked for our neighbors.
We didn't get to try them, did we? No. Well, we'll cook them again. For sure. For sure. But while we wait for our water to boil, we're going to clean up the kitchen and we'll be right back with you, okay?
Hey guys. We're still waiting on the water to boil. It's closed, so we decided to go ahead and start chopping up these wash. So Denise is washing, and as she washes, I'm just going to slice them up in this pan. I didn't want to get my jars set up yet, so just get them all sliced up here. Still feels good. They're the hardest thing to rinse off, squash is, you know.
The dirt just clings to
it. Yeah.
I'm rubbing it with my hands.
This is the time of season though. If you grow your own garden, you usually for our area now, we're in 8B, Zone B, 8B, or 8A, Zone 8. We're in Zone 8. A lot of stuff is ready to harvest. We've already harvested our potatoes, which we showed you a video of that, and our onions, and we've wound down on our snap beans, so everything else is slowly getting ready. So it is the busiest time for you if you're harvesting your own food, for us, anyway. The last of the snap beans are here. We'll get them snapped. Water's boiling. We'll get it added. You fill it up to, you leave a ½ inch headspace on your jars. And that's usually about to that bottom ring. Sometimes you go over.
It said an inch to an inch and a quarter headspace is what it was saying. That's what
On your
I read, yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a little less than that, isn't it?
I'll go to the shoulder then. I want to make sure. That was hot on the finger. Whoa, I got a little too much in there. We've been so busy since we both quit. We've often wondered, how in the world did we,
Get the air out of there.
Yeah. How in the world did we manage to get things done? I saw the thing in here. Hang on. How did we manage to get it all done? You know, of course now, granted, this year we have put up more than we've ever put up. You know, it's just kind of, you know, not knowing what future holds. You know, either way, we'll be prepared. You know, we'll have food on the table, which is something we enjoy for doing for our families. And we'll have, if it does go bad, you know, we'll have the food to eat. You know, so I think I need to add just a little bit more there.
Nothing like growing your own stuff and putting it up, canning it and putting it away. I love it.
Tastes so good. Fresh vegetables. That's right.
They're so good.
Now, I'll show you a little trick. I'll go find it.
Always got tricks. We'll be going out there every morning after I milk my goats and just picking the squash. So this is probably 2 or maybe 3 days, maybe 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 days of harvest of squash out of our 3 or 4 rows that we have. So just trying to stay on top of it, you know. Like Deannette said, how we used to do it when we worked, and I'll just tell you, a lot of stuff fell by the wayside, and we didn't get to harvest it like we wanted to. But this year, we've stayed on top of the weeds so far. We've stayed on top of harvesting it, everything, making sure nothing goes to waste, and it's been nice, you know, keeping up with that, and making sure that we're being good stewards of everything that the Lord gives us. And so, we'll probably be like ready not to eat any more squash after the season's over.
Yeah, we still have some left over from last year, and probably about 10 quarts back there that are left.
And that's our fault because we haven't cooked them as much. You know, I didn't realize there was that many still back in our pantry, so we could have been doing casseroles galore. So, but we'll do that. We'll do casseroles and squash and whatever. We actually could make some squash relish. Now I gotta find that good recipe.
Yeah.
I had a good recipe one time where we need to make some squash relish.
Well,
years ago I had it, and I made it, and it was so good. And the next recipe I found, I tried, I couldn't find my old one. It had way too much pepper or something, and it was just too, it was not good. But man, we're gonna do some squash relish this year. We are.
I just don't want to get, because I ended up throwing away some zucchini pickles, and they were good when we made them.
Well, but
I just threw them away this year because they've been on the shelf in there for, you know, a couple years, and I was just not certain that they would get ate. And
see, I didn't know they were there. I don't even know if I haven't tried them.
I'm sure when we first made them, we did. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna look in the book and see if I can find some squash relish. And look at the recipes and make sure they don't have too much pepper in it.
Now, the trick that I just did, you see, I grabbed the white vinegar. I wet the paper towel and I wiped the rims before I put the lids on. That gets all, if there's any salt residue or any water left on the rim, it will remove it and keep it from rusting and allow the seal to seal. Now I'm just finger tightening these, you know, and we've worked all the air out. I'm checking each one to make sure that they're finger tight. I'm sure these carrots are going to shrink some. We packed them as tight as they would go. They're going to be probably like similar to these snap beans. But anyway, we got our Old Faithful American canner here, which we love. Jason and Lauren, I've been using theirs, and I love it because the pressure canner we had the old Presto, and you know it has a seal. And I don't know, I was terrified of it, you know, and for some reason, you know, always in your mind it's gonna explode. But this one, you know, man, it locks, and you don't ever have to worry about replacing it. Now I got those 9 pints of carrots in here, and I'm gonna fill it up, the water up, almost to the top. The thing about pressure canning is you don't have to, I don't think you have to cover the lids. I know on regular cold water baths, you have to have you know, a little bit of water above your jar, above your lids, but it's the steam in here that is what does the sterilization. And so I'm gonna cover them pretty full, and then I put the lid on and we'll get it going. Once you get it, your lid locked on, and you get it boiling, and you get a steady stream of steam coming out of your lid, your little steam pipe here, you'll get a steady stream of steam coming out of that she should be about 10 minutes. Let it go for about 10 minutes, and then your little weight here, it's got the different measurements, you know, for where we are, the sea level we're at, we need 10 pounds of pressure for about 20 or 25 minutes. So once this is gone 10 minutes, then I'm going to put my 10-pound weight on it, and I'm going to let it, it's going to build up to 10 pounds of pressure on the gauge, and we'll let it go 20 or 25 minutes. turn the eye off when that's done. Let it cool down completely before we unlock it and take them out. And we'll definitely have to show you how they turn out. Now, let me get the tub filled up here.
Okay.
Some people, just by watching and reading, you know, certain blogs and stuff like that, comments from people, they're very concerned about putting a pressure canner on a glass top stove. We personally have not ever had any issues with it. I know that the weight of the canner could possibly over time crack the lid. I think that's some of the concerns I've heard. But we have not had any issues with it. Pray that we don't ever, you know. I'd love to do these, like again, our squash is just making, so we should have time for, I'm sorry for reaching over you, to do it, but he's passed away this past year. Old Alabama gardener, Eric Stumpy, watched him all the time, and our okra recipe that we that we canned our okra with has been one of our all-time favorites. And Stumpy was telling us the other day that, you know, he'd like to do the squash that way. That way throughout the year you can have fried squash, you know, because you know when you can squash, it tends to get mushy, and so therefore you lose the crispness of it, you know. And so not that we fry a lot of squash, but every once in a while.
Ooh, I would eat it though if it was fried. I eat it.
We Southern girls. We like our food fried.
Fried green tomatoes, fried squash, fried okra, fried zucchini, fried chicken, fried pork chops. Ooh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
First meal I cooked for Eric was fried pork chops and cabbage because I wanted that city boy to have some good old country cooking. It was good too. I was so scared I was going to not cook it right.
And you want his heart. You've been running him off since.
I don't know if that won his heart, but he stuck around for sure. 32 years later.
Yeah. Just working away. I've got the canner heating up back there with the carrots in it.
Stubby's home.
And we'll get it going. It shouldn't take long, you know. Probably the longest process that you have to wait for is the cool down, I think, before you can open up the canner, you know. So he doesn't know we have Beckett, so we're gonna have to let him know when he comes in to Beckett's been asleep an hour and 20 minutes. That's good. The baby is tired. I think he's had some late nights. They're very busy serving at their church, and so that makes for long nights for them 3-year-olds. This afternoon. Well, maybe it will be.
So what's going to be different than now?
It's usually every other week that it's loud because Levi's here, and we have to get him off the school bus. But you know, his mom and his dad swap weeks, and so he's at his dad's this week. She's not left-handed. I'm left-handed.
Right-handed, but I do everything else left-handed.
And I do everything left-handed. Just because. So is she's ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I guess if that's what they want to call it. Yeah. I'm not sure.
We got out there this morning. It's probably about 10 o'clock and tried to hoe the peppers. I mean, I finished the row and all, but
it's hot.
It's just too hot.
We're gonna have to be smart this time of year.
Get out there.
When the weather starts warming up, not to be out there in the heat of the day.
We had not drank enough, and so we got that done, and we got inside to do this, just because it is too hot. You will quickly dehydrate and get yourself in trouble, you know, if you get out there and start working in the heat, you know.
The friends weren't at Manny's home yet.
Yeah. So here we go. This is the Alaska squash
For today.
We're just gonna got a pan full of squash, so
we're just going to put this in the canner and can it. Years ago, my grandmother would blanch it on the stove with slices of onions, with onions chopped in it, and put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it, and that worked great. There's nothing wrong with that, for sure, all those years. But it doesn't seem to hold up as long as squash in the can.
plus if your freezer ever goes out, you lose power for several days. You know, you can lose everything in your freezer.
This is really done just the same way as the carrots are. You pack it with your raw vegetable in hot jars, and we just simply wash our jars out with hot water is the way we do it for us. You know, if we were to probably do it for selling purposes or whatever, we would do it differently to make sure it was more sterilized. But just for the family, we're good with just washing them real good and rinsing them. So because these can be canned at the same pressure, the same amount of time, we are going to do the canning all together.
I don't know, the carrots are in there. It's already full of the pie.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's already full of pints. I apologize. My mistake.
Forks go a little bit longer, I think.
That's right. They do. My mistake.
Probably looking. Oh, very maybe in.
I'm working at it.
All these years up to now, Stumpy's been the one to do all the canning because he's the one with the most time.
But the way his job is, he's home earlier in the day to start this process. But hopefully we can relieve him of some of those duties and help out. Not that he minds.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he's going to make sure we have food to eat, that's for sure. Is really tight. Try to squeeze every piece of
Every space you can get into.
right, because a lot of times if you don't, then you have that much liquid, you know, and not enough. definitely do shrink down. Was today the day that it was going to go to Sarah's?
I'm not sure.
We've been trying to go and help our niece, her daughter, work on their house. She's getting married in September, and her future husband and her were blessed with a home from his grandfather, and they've been renovating it, and it's getting down to crunch time, so we've been trying to get down there and help. Lord knows, we're not afraid to work. Sorry, just a moment. That's probably the hospital ready for us to go get Mom. Okay. So anyway, we've been helping her get her house done, and we've remodeled, you know, my house, Denise's house. We helped build Mom and Dad's house, Jason Lauren's house, and all. And we had some videos of Jason Lauren's where I know we did an insulation video where we installed insulation there, and we really didn't get a finished product on their house. Their little house turned out so cute. So cute. It's so adorable. So adorable. Oh, you were here about to get out of jar. I think we got enough for one more jar.
Don't forget Mom.
Oh, she is. Good. You can keep trucking along here. Looks like we're gonna have 9 quarts. 9's the number today, I guess, Denise. Oh, Oakley is scratching. Pound, pound, pound. Who got an itch, buddy? Where's he at? He's over here. You hear thumping? He sounds like Thumper. I don't know if you can hear him on the camera.
Got the salt in there yet?
Salt in where?
In the cans yet?
In here?
Yeah.
No. No, not yet.
Because your water's boiling. And it's a teaspoon for a quart.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I was reaching across you earlier, so. Well, slippery. From that one. There we go. 9. Get out of here. Was it 55? Check that book. You think that's steady enough, honey?
Yes, baby. Yes, it's blowing clean.
Okay, so
You set it for
10
10 minutes.
minutes, that's right.
You put the weight on it.
That's right.
Let your pounds come up in 10.
There we go. There we go. We got that timer set for 10 minutes. I need to be wiping these and getting the lid on them. Our sweet Beckett, what's up? You might hear him in the background. The wind back there. to niche. He's come a long way from where he was.
It's 45 minutes.
Speech therapy has done him great.
So they're tight?
They're tight, yes.
45 minutes.
Yes, that's what I thought. So once that goes 10 minutes, I'll put the weight on it and get it build up to 10 pounds of pressure. How does that? I don't want it to get messed up. Again, on these, I'm going to finger tight. And I do. That looks pretty. Okay, we'll wait on that. So we still have some zucchini that we'll probably can today. So we are waiting on that. So stick around. The pressure is building up there. Right now it's at 5, so we've got about 6 minutes. I put the weight on there, and try to get up to 10, and then let that go for 25 minutes. So, next up on the video will be the finished product of the carrots. So stick around. Well, timer's going off. And all I'm going to do right here is turn this off. Let it cool down. Let the pressure get down to 0. As soon as it does, I hear you. Papa's out there? Daddy? Okay. Anyway, let's take it down to 0. Once it does, then I'm just going to unlock these screws, these latches here, and we'll pull our carrots out. And then it's going to be ready to put our squash in, and I will get it going. It's in quarts, so it'll go longer than 25 minutes. I'll double check on that. But stay tuned. I'll have the carrots out in just a little bit. Hey guys, it's Deannette. We have finished the carrots. All 9 jars of them have come out of the canner. I think Stumpy has loaded up the canner with the squash that we've done, but let me show you. I'm gonna grab the camera here and I'm gonna show you right here. There are 9 carrots right there. We didn't lose much space. They didn't shrink much. Oh, they're hot though. They turned out really, really good. I'm really interested in seeing how they turn out, how they taste. But they sure are pretty, aren't they? 9 jars from just a quarter of the flower bed there. Raised bed, as I was corrected. But anyway, So, productive day. Good squash done. And Eric's tilled some plots out there to get them ready for his sweet potatoes. I'm sure we'll have a video on that. So we do appreciate you watching us, staying with us on our journey, on the things we do here on the hill. Sometimes it might not seem so interesting, and then again, you might love it. We've had plenty of comments of people who are so nice. But please share our videos, like and subscribe. If you have questions, anything you want to see us include on our video, let us know. Just comment below. But don't forget that like and subscribe and that little notification bell so that you can be notified every time that we have a video uploaded. And we look forward to seeing you on our Friday Double Trouble vlogs that Denise and I are going to get started. Vlogs, I think is what they're called, not blogs. But as Stumpy always says, a simple life is a much more enjoyable life. We appreciate you so much. God bless.